Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming down today. My name is Mahoning County Commissioner John McNally, and as you can see behind us, we've got a bunch of interested folks to talk about proposed plans for privatization of the Ohio Turnpike. We have Ted Kalo, Lorain County Commissioner, my colleagues here in Mahoning County, Carol Righetti, Anthony Trafficani, Ed FitzGerald, Cuyahoga County Executive, Ron Gerberry, State Representative here representing the Mahoning Valley, and Summit County Executive Russ. In 1949, the Ohio Legislature authorized creation of the Ohio Turnpike Commission. To fund this new superhighway, the Turnpike Commission issued over $326 million in revenue bonds, not the state of Ohio, but the Ohio Turnpike Commission, to build the Ohio Turnpike. No state general revenue funds have ever been appropriated by the state of Ohio to support the Ohio Turnpike. The Turnpike is funded by tolls, profits from concessions, and other items sold in Turnpike shops to pay off the projects, as well as enhancements and land expansions. It is clear that the Ohio Turnpike is not an asset of the state of Ohio, but is an asset bought and paid for by Northern Ohioans and other users of this Northern Ohio superhighway. The Ohio Turnpike is a tremendous asset. It is not an asset of the state of Ohio, though, to be bought and sold or leased. It is an asset of the state of Ohio and the Turnpike Commission that is paid for by all of us here in Northern Ohio, all of the users of the Turnpike. Today we've brought together members of other county commissions across the state of Ohio. We look forward to bringing other representatives from other Northern Ohio counties to voice our opposition to any changes to the Ohio Turnpike proposed by Governor Kasich or other members of the General Assembly. So with that, I would like to turn it over to Cuyahoga County Executive Ed FitzGerald. We'll also hear from Russ, my colleagues here at Mahoning County, and from Ted Kalo. Thank you very much, and Executive FitzGerald, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for hosting us here today. Sometimes it takes a crisis for people to come together. There's never been a press conference like this really in recent Ohio history, but we now have representatives, as you can see behind me, that are all the affected communities, or a large number of the affected communities that this proposal would end up impacting, and it's growing. This conversation started locally, but now we're starting to build bridges and connections with each other to respond to this initiative by the Kasich administration. So I had a conversation a little bit more than a month ago with Commissioner McNally, and he's been spreading the word out in this part of Ohio. But it's not even just limited to that. So I can represent to you today that it really runs the whole length of the Turnpike itself in terms of county officials that realize that we've got to get together on the same page and try to respond in a coordinated fashion. So just today, actually, we got confirmation from one of the county commissioners in Lucas County on the far western part of the Turnpike that they also want to join our coalition. It really comes out of the idea that we don't want to just be on the receiving end of whatever schemes the Kasich administration ends up dreaming up. And we have seen this pattern before, and we saw it with issue 2, to be honest with you. And I'll tell you what the analogy is. With issue 2, they cut local government funds. All of the local elected officials behind me have had to cut their budgets and, dramatically because of the loss of state support through the cutting of the local government fund. The solution to that was supposed to be issue 2. We all know how that worked out. Now we have basically the corollary to that same strategy. Now infrastructure spending is being cut. So just the other day, we learned in Cuyahoga County that the largest infrastructure project in the state, which is our Interbelt Bridge project, is being delayed by at least 10 years. Now we're being told that privatizing the Turnpike is our only option to do that. And we have to decide collectively, all of these counties, whether or not we just want to wait and take whatever it is they're going to give us, or whether we're really going to demand to have a seat at the table. So the way that the policy process has been unfolding so far is the governor has been saying that he thinks this is a great idea. He wants to privatize the Turnpike, and now he is going to pick his own consultant that he's going to pay. And that consultant is going to deliver a report, which I believe is due in late June or July, and it's going to tell the governor whether or not it's a good idea. And you can draw your own conclusions about whether or not his consultant is going to tell them that his idea was a good one. We're not going to just sit here and take that as an established fact. We're going to do our own studies of this. So one of the things that I'm asking all of the counties that participate with us to commit to is to do our own study, our own analysis, so that we're not going to get a one-sided conversation. So I'm committing my planning staff and the people that work in my public works department, many of whom have decades of experience dealing with ODOT and the Turnpike, and we're going to be conducting our own study and review of how these proposed Turnpike privatizations have actually benefited or not benefited people in jurisdictions all across the United States. That way, the people are going to have a balanced presentation as opposed to a one-sided presentation by an administration that has already had a foregone conclusion that they want to privatize the Turnpike. As Commissioner McNally said, this is a local asset. And to say that you're going to pay for local or statewide transportation projects by selling a local asset is particularly unfair to the people of Northern Ohio. And I'm just very proud that, again, sometimes it takes an emergency situation for us to realize how much we have in common in this state. At this time, I want to invite to the podium my colleague immediately to the west of my county, which is Lorain County Commissioner Ted Kalo. Ted?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank our host in Mahoning County and Commissioner McNally. Thank you very much. As the process has started and we need to consolidate and collaborate and cooperate, this brings us right to the forefront of how we're going to protect our interests. We're here today as a result of our shared interest in keeping the Ohio Turnpike an asset of the residents of the state of Ohio, Northeast Ohio in particular, and not become another ill-fated attempt to privatize Ohio. We have seen that the plan to sell prisons didn't turn out as they originally thought, and I'm not positive that the sale or lease of this entity is going to benefit any of us in the long term. As it's been said, the Ohio Turnpike has been an economic development tool for all of us. It's not paid for by general fund dollars. It's not paid by outside taxes. It's tolls, it's fees, and it's the gas tax they get from just on their properties. And it's also the best maintained highway in the state. This is no burden on our general fund, so I see no reason for the state of Ohio to think about selling or leasing this project. And as elected officials, collectively, our responsibility is to look out for the best interests of our residents. The proposed leasing of this state asset for short-term gain will only lead to long-term pain. Increased tolls, lack of oversight will only slow down our economic recovery as we recover from the worst recession that we've ever seen. We need our residents and business community to join us in voicing your displeasure, what I call cases just folly, to sell or lease this Turnpike. Again, I thank you very much. It's great to be able to collaborate as far across the state of Ohio as we can. Thank you.
Okay, next will be Summit County Executive Russ Fry.
Thanks, John, and I want to thank the Mahoning County Commissioners for hosting this conference today, and I want to particularly thank my friend Ed FitzGerald for trying to put this together and to allow us to use your staff to look at this, Ed, so thank you very much. Last year in Summit County, the Akron Metropolitan Area Transportation Study, commonly known as AMATS, looked at this issue. And they had their staff prepare a study in terms of whether it was a good idea to sell or to lease the Turnpike. And that committee came back, and again, it's a non-political body. It's made up of Democrats and Republicans through Summit and Portage County in terms of transportation issues, and concluded that it was a bad idea to move forward on this plan. They concluded that in order for this to be successful for a private company, they were either going to have to somehow really increase the volume of traffic or significantly increase the tolls or decrease maintenance. All of those options, the last two in particular, are not particularly good for people that live in Northeast Ohio. It also concluded that it would make more people drive on the non-toll roads, thus increasing maintenance and cost to the local communities. And as it's already been pointed out, we're seeing cuts from ODOT funds right now that would go to help maintain and correct those roads. that people would have to go over. So I'm very grateful to be here and to be a part of this study, and I look forward as we put together a plan that I think will truly address the needs and the concerns of the people who live along the Turnpike. Thank you.
Commissioner Trafficani, Commissioner Rigetti.
Thank you, Commissioner McNally. I'd like to thank our board president for hosting this, Mr. FitzGerald, Mr. Pry, for being here. What I don't understand is the governor has proposed so many off-the-wall things that strike at the heart of the middle class. We're hearing that ODOT projects are going to be on hold till 2036, and yet he wants to sell the state's largest and most valuable asset, the Ohio Turnpike, which in my terms, there is no price tag that you can put on it. It's immeasurable. This is owned by the taxpayers of this state and the people that have used it. To do this, to fund a short-term financial hole in the state budget is foolish. What will happen after the sale of the Turnpike? What are we left with? Potholes, unmaintained, unplowed, unsalted roads, dangers to traffic, to bystanders, to pedestrians. Truck traffic would be increased. This would be a total nightmare for our area and for the state in general. This, again, is another strike at the heart of the middle class. I appreciate the coalition that is forming here, and we cannot allow this to happen. This is foolhardy to believe that selling our Turnpike to a private unknown entity is going to fund a $4 billion deficit that the state has. It makes no sense. I want to thank my colleagues here for joining us here today. Thank you.
Carol.
I also want to thank Commissioner McNally and everyone that's here for coming to Mahoning County about the sale of the Turnpike. I'm absolutely opposed to the sale of our Turnpike. I think Governor Kasich, out of respect for all of the 88 counties of the state of Ohio, ought to get together. He should visit these counties to see exactly what goes on in every county and how these roads are assets to our people. This is not a Democrat or a Republican issue. This is non-political. And for what he's doing, I see politics in this. I'm opposed to that adamantly. When he walked through that door in Columbus, he should have represented all of us, all people of the state of Ohio. I don't see that, and I will help in any way I can with this group and the coalition. So I thank you very much for coming here today, the press, and also all our executives. Thank you.
Representative Gerber, you want to fire away here for a
Well,
few
yeah,
seconds?
it doesn't take long for me to get excited about the Ohio Turnpike. And I just want to say that on behalf of Representative Matt Lundy and myself, who have been the two really outspoken advocates on this issue, to say, no, we're not going to allow this. Having you ladies and gentlemen across the state from Williams County to Mahoning County, I'm telling you, someone asked me last week, the excuse about the bridge in Cuyahoga County, was this a reason why the governor was going to be able to get his hands on this money? And I said, this governor will use any excuse to privatize that road. And Matt Lundy and I am not going to be able to stop this if I don't get the support of each and every one of you folks, because we're trying. I introduced the bill. Has not had a hearing. Media has not had a hearing. That would ban the sale or lease of the Ohio Turnpike. It's wrong. It's our road. The people of Cincinnati don't give a damn about that road. The people of Columbus don't care about that road. But from Williams County to Mahoning County, through Lorain, through Erie, through every county across the state of Ohio. And there are some Republican representatives. But I got to tell you guys, and ma'am, that on every single issue that we have dealt with in the first year of this administration, the sheep have followed John Kasich. They've gone off the cliff with him on every issue. And we're going to have to get Republicans to support us if this guy thinks that he's going to take the people's road. We paid for that road. John Kasich should go back to Keys Rocks or wherever the hell he's from. And that's where he should go. because I've about had it. Anyway, so
Yeah,
thank you.
I think we'll step back there for a second. Any questions from the media?